Hello everybody, my name's James. Welcome to the Planet FPL Gameweek 4 Deadline stream. Clear my throat. And it's live over the next 56 minutes or so. I'll be attempting to answer as many of your FPL dilemmas as possible ahead of the 11 a.m. Gameweek 4 deadline. Before I go into those questions, let me take you through the graphics on screen. You will find many of the answers to your questions there. You'll see the countdown to deadline, the top left hand corner. Also to the left of me, you'll see my correct score predictions for all 10 Premier League games in Game Week 4. To the top right, you'll see my team as it stands on screen, rolling a transfer, prepared to potentially bring Josh Da Silva into the starting 11 for Ryan Sessegnon if I get some concrete news in the next hour. Otherwise, it's staying as it is. Ramsdale, James, Trent, Cancelo, Robertson, Sessegnon, Son, Martinelli, Luis Diaz, Erling Haaland, Captain Jesus. Below that, you'll see my top 10 captaincy picks in order of preference this game week. If you've got Mo Salah, I don't think it's I don't think it's there to be overthought. I would just get on with it. Very much debated the -4 to get him in. Decided not to do it. Salah over Jesus, over Haaland, over De Bruyne, over Kane, over Son are my preferences. Trent, Martinelli, Luis Diaz, Ivan Toney, I think, offer nice differential options this week. If you've got Salah, your captain Salah, let's be real about it in most cases. I've seen a couple going for Trent over Salah, but if I had him, I'd do it. Right at the bottom of the screen on the grey ticker going across the bottom, you'll see next 5 fixtures for all 20 Premier League clubs. The FDR rating on them is based on the Premier League's website, so, you know, Brighton at home's green, but they don't seem to lose away from home. I'll take note of that, but that's how it is. And below me, immediately, you will see the benching dilemmas screen, which everyone just ignores every week. So I'll take you through it. On page 1, the player with the tick is the preferred option over players on page 2. The player with the tick is preferred over the player below. So, for example, on page 1, Perisic preferred over Mitrovic, Mitrovic over Maddison. I know Sam Martin has just tweeted and said he thinks Maddison's not going to be fit. Maddison over Rodrigo, Rodrigo over Trippier. That then moves on to page 2. Trippier over Gross, over Neto, over Cash, Cash over me. These are the preferred options in order for who to select in your 11 rather than the bench. Take you on to page 3. Me over Dunk, over Bailey, over Da Silva, over Fabian Schär. Page 4 is Schär over Andreas Pereira, over Dewsbury Hall, over Nico Williams, over Nathan Patterson. And if you need it, on page 5, there's some keepers for you as well. Ramsdale over Raya, Raya over Sanchez, Sanchez over Dean Henderson, Dean Henderson over Danny Ward. And that's your benching dilemma screen that will keep rotating during the stream. I think that's it. That's all the nonsense covered. Patrons, if you're listening, DM me on Slack if we got any important news comes up in the next hour. Obviously, Southampton and Manchester United is our early kickoff today. Right, let's get into the questions. And no, as it stands, I'm not going to fucking Lisbon. I'm pissed off. So I really might cut people short today. Owen Wilson says, hiya James, what's the plan for Spurs fixtures? Going to get to any of the away games? Currently not at the moment. Them flights for Sporting Lisbon are not justifiable. And the fact that it's a 5:45 p.m. kickoff rather than 8 o'clock is an absolute killer in terms of trying to transport around different areas of the country and stuff like that. It's not justifiable. I'd love to go, but the expense is excessive. So unless I'm waiting on a couple of potential options that might come out from private companies. But at the moment, no, it looks like I'm probably not going anywhere in Europe, which means probably lock me into going to Manchester United in game week 12. Lin Tian Bao says, hey James, Saliba or Dunk if you were to get one? Thanks. Be Saliba still for me with the immediate Arsenal fixtures. Andy Max says, hi James, any news on Perisic? If on a wild card, would you keep him or swap him to someone else? And if so, who for same price? Cheers. If I had him, I'd 100% keep him and start him. If I was on wild card, I'd definitely get him in. I could have taken a -4 to get him in, or I could have brought him in for Robertson or James or Cancelo. It just doesn't make sense for me. But yeah, I absolutely want him. Is he going to get rotated? Yes, 100% certainty. The fact that the Tottenham game against Marseille between 6 and 7 is on the Wednesday, I would think gives him a higher possibility of starting 2 rather than 1 of the next 3 games, if that helps you. My instinct would be that he starts tomorrow. Do we have anything accurate? No. I've spoken previously about the idea of wanting Perisic's height against West Ham. That said, he may look at it and think, I'd rather have Sessegnon against Bowen than Perisic. So you can spin the narrative either way. I think he probably does start tomorrow. My instinct would be he'll probably start tomorrow. They'll then assess him ahead of West Ham. If his recovery's not great, Sessegnon will play. If not, Perisic will probably play again. If he plays again, then definitely expect Sessegnon to start against Fulham. That's where I'd be at the moment. Atul Balaji says, hey James, what do you think of the fees in the transfer window? Only last year we were shocked with 50 million for Ben White, and now everyone is spending 60 million like it's nothing. It's going to keep going, mate. This time next year, probably be 70, 80 like it's nothing. It's inflation, mate. Sam Taylor says, morning James, would you take a hit to take out Nico Williams for Perisic? Otherwise I'd have to play Andreas or Nico, thanks. That's one, if you've got the money in the bank, I'd probably gamble on a little bit more personally. Tom Campbell says, morning Jim, hello TC. Tom's going to be my guest. He's going to be doing the Game Week 6 review with me on Monday the 5th of September. Says, do you have any tall guest hosts lined up for the podcast in the near future? Have a great Game Week, pal. You too, mate. Tom, everyone's tall to me. You should know that, mate. Kia says, hi James, owns Salah, Haaland and Son, which hasn't been great. What do you think of Son to Diaz and then Keenan Dewsbury Hall to Kulusevski, or some 8 million mid for a hit? I mean, if you don't even know which one you want, then no. Nico to Perisic, also an idea. Tempted to wildcard. So, if in doubt, and this is what I've done, I've had enough doubt this week, decided to do nothing. And I wouldn't recommend against that for you. Matthew says, Cucurella to Trippier or just play Andreas? Just play Cucurella, mate. I mean, look, there's every chance you play left-sided centre-back, but just play him. What did we get him for? We're scared of Leicester at home. Just play him, mate. Pushcast says, hi James, no FPL questions today, just here for the vibes. Have a good weekend, mate, and to you too, mate. Kia says, got any tips for buying tickets at Spurs Stadium for newcomers? Yeah, ticket exchange, need to be a member. Try and avoid the illegal sites. Tottenham do have a page on the website that advise which ticketing sites to use that are third parties, although most of them are links to premium tickets only. A lot of it is you need to know the right person. I'm not the right person. Declan Burns says, hi James, best midfielder 6 million or under to replace Leon Bailey. Looking at maybe Harrison, Gross or Aronson. Yeah, I think Harrison for me. I wouldn't overly expect anything this weekend, but yeah, I think if I had to go for one of them right now, it'd be Harrison from that group. Berticus says, best Grealish replacement, mate. Got 7.3 in the bank. Or do I play De Silva or Andreas in his place this week and roll for 2 free transfers next week to try and manoeuvre up to Gundogan or Foden? Well, I would come down with the money. I'd come down to sort of Rashford or Rodrigo, I think. And that's probably going to help you if you want to throw into Gundogan in midweek, I should imagine. Gearden88 says, is Walker the best replacement for Aki? I mean, if it's the Man City player that you want, then yes. Would rather have Trippier at similar value, personally. Although I can certainly see with the next 2 fixtures you would want Walker over Trippier. So yeah, go on, Carl Walker, knock yourself out. FTLOL podcast says, hi James, do you think Fofana at Chelsea is better value than White, Saliba, Cucurella? To be confirmed, but my instinct would be that he dropped to 4.4 last night. I wouldn't expect him to play at Southampton in midweek, assuming that transfer is about to go through. But eyes on the prize very much for next week, West Ham and Fulham. It might be that he needs to play one game first. Chelsea's run is sustainable and good. I think for me to get the kind of 4 premium defenders, if you will, one needs to enable. And that, so if you look at my team, take that as an example at the moment. Reece James to Fofana allows Sessegnon to Perisic. Also puts a little bit in money in the bank that allows greater flexibility to hop between, say, Son and De Bruyne, for example. So kind of where I'm thinking I'm at the moment. Rishi, but I certainly wouldn't be making that move now. There's obviously no way Wesley Fofana's playing today. Rishi Sego says, hi James, play Bailey or Nico Williams. Preference is Bailey. You'll find both of those players on the bench in dilemmas. Holostama says, hello James, good luck to everybody today and to you too, my friend. Jason has a similar question, play Bailey or Andreas Pereira. The answer is Bailey. For me, I would take the chance with the better fixture. No guarantee that he plays. You'll find both of those players on the benching dilemma. Danilis is here to listen. Have a good one, folks. You too, mate. Sheila Gerard says start 2 of Walker, Gabriel or Rodrigo. I think with them fixtures, honestly, I'd play Walker and Gabriel personally. Adam Lewis says, hi, James. Great content. Would you get rid of Nico and Saka to Zinchenko and Rodrigo or burn a transfer as I have no other options? You've got no other options. Literally none, no? Sure. Nothing you can do as a hop on, hop off for a week. I don't hate those transfers, to be honest. So, crack on. Ryan Hemmings says, good morning, James. Happy bank holiday weekend and planning your UCL trips. Simple question, start Andreas or Patterson. Again, you'll find both of them with the benching dilemmas. Andreas Pereira is the preferred. FPL Red, hi James, after watching Liverpool on Monday, do you think they will bounce back quickly? Or in your opinion, are the issues more deep-rooted and we should look at moving on their assets? One of the things I discussed on the page, I mean, no concern for Bournemouth at home. One of the things I discussed on the Patreon podcast yesterday that we did was, can Bournemouth open them up? It's not to say Bournemouth can't score. It can score from a set piece, cross from a wide area, whatever. Can Bournemouth manoeuvre that situation where they hurt Liverpool through the heart of the team? And if they do, then we should be concerned. Next 4 fixtures for Liverpool: Bournemouth at home, Newcastle at home, Everton away, Wolves at home. My opinion is it's very unlikely, but it could be 4 clean sheets, irrespective of the problems they have. So there's no loss of faith for me. They're in a bad moment. I'm sure Fabinho will come into the team today, and that will help as well. Steve Jones says, hi James, I'm assuming Reece James becomes a better long-term option if Chelsea complete the Fofana deal. Surely he starts right wing back more often. Yep, you would absolutely think that. But then I think you could see Fofana play central of the centre-backs, perhaps to cover Thiago Silva and Reece James slip in. No guarantee of anything. Honestly, you could play Reece James centre-back and Azpilicueta wing-back today. I think it's more likely to be the other way round, to be honest. In theory, yes, it should make him a better option. Yes. Shahid says, hi James, I see you didn't do Son to Salah from -4. I'm still tempted as not having Salah will hurt my rank more than not having Son. Thoughts? Thanks. Yep, you can also spin that narrative the other way round, mate. That if Salah blanks and Son does well, you're going to jump better. So again, this is what happens with managers. Do we pick up the negative or do we pick up the positive vibe? I'm kind of somewhere in the middle with that right now. I know that, listen, I don't think for a second that Mo Salah's not going to score today. I know what's likely to happen. But I've decided it's not worth the 4 to take Robertson. It's more than not take Robertson out. I don't want to take him out because of what I just said on the clean sheets. Hasselbank is win. Can Man City go the full season unbeaten? Extremely unlikely. With the setup of the Champions League and stuff this week. I mean, they go to Liverpool in 11, Arsenal in 12 in the space of sort of 3-4 days. You've got Champions League before Liverpool. They've got a tough Champions League group. We're really talking about teams going unbeaten after 3 games. But the thing is as well, imagine Man City go really well in the Champions League and let's say they have got the league wrapped up with 12 getting, February or something. They'll probably take their eye off the ball, mate. So it's a bit of nonsense speaking about that sort of thing after 3 games. They very nearly lost at Newcastle last week. Can they? Yes. Ali Paksand Michori. Hi James, we are logged in from Nairobi. Great content. Hello in Kenya, mate. FPL Mingo says, got Webster and 2 EFTs. So would you do Aki to Saliba to allow Johnston to Sanchez or Raya? Yes. Yes. Neil Thompson says, morning, would you do the double transfer you have talked about if it was for free? Son and Robertson out and Salah and Perisic in. Cheers. Good luck for the game week. Yes, probably. Probably. Like, it's really close. I'd strongly considered that from -4. So I think for free, yes, I probably would have done it. I could make those exact moves in midweek. Ben Edinson says, morning, mate. Good morning, Ben. I hope you're well. Prabish says, hi, James. VVD to Perisic. Worth it this week. Already have TAA and no Spurs defence. I'm going to say no. No. VVD could easily be a 15-pointer today, couldn't he? It's not to say that Perisic can't. Of course he can. No, I'd leave it, I think. FPL PTSD says, hi, James. Top quality content as ever. Would you start Trippier over Aronson? Yes, I would, yes. Kia says, you think it could be troublesome later to wildcard... Sorry. You think it could be troublesome later to wildcard and have KDB and Salah and no premium up top? Tony and Jesus could offer, but hard to go back with insufficient funds. Well, quite honestly, if you then decide you want to get to Haaland or Kane, then you obviously one of those 2 players has got to go, which is okay. You can do that. I just prefer at the moment having the setup of the top forward. It's Erling Haaland And yes, can go to Kane, can go to Nunez, can go to Aubameyang if he comes into Chelsea and is priced in highly. There's another forward as well whose name's escaping me right now who doesn't feel of interest but might be. Anyway, who's next? Yes, I would prefer to have the forward. FPL Finding Glory. Morning, James. Been reflecting on the Delhi decline this week and also on that amazing 2017 Champions League run. Looking forward to it again. Now I've captained Sonny 2 times this season, third time a charm. I don't mind it. I mean, realistically, Sonny going to blank 4 in a row. I'm not that he blanked game week 1 or not score 4 in a row. I think you can spin the narrative. I won't say he's due. It's not like he's not having chances. I just got the impression last week against Wolves that I didn't feel like he was going to score. What I would say is, for the talking tactics I did for patrons where I assessed Ivan Perisic, some was far more threatening watching it back than I felt at the time, actually. So, again, you can have your narrative either way, mate. Sonny could easily be the top scoring player this week. He gets a couple at Forest. It's not impossible. Therese Keeves says, hi, James. Raya or Sanchez on wildcard. Good luck this week. Preference is still Raya for me in the immediate. Again, part of that influence is knowing, should I want to go to a Brighton or Brentford defender, I would rather go to Dunk rather than Henry. And I think that's a possibility once we kind of get into that stage where the bigger clubs have got more difficult fixtures. Who's next? Pushkar says, Chelsea were so lucky that Man United-Liverpool game was last weekend. Their drubbing by Leeds has gone under radar. What's up with them? Are Chelsea so reliant on Kante? Kovacic is potentially back, although he's obviously not going to start today. So it's the two of them. Look, they're massive, big, important players, Kante and Kovacic. So yes, it's going to have an impact. That said, my friend, we spoke about it a lot on Monday. Huge credit to Leeds for the way they played. Zaris said no one was concerned about Chelsea the week before the way they played against Tottenham. So there might be a press resistance problem for Chelsea. Tottenham aren't going to come and press. Leeds are the sort of team that will. Unless they're going to come and press today. Probably not. Could Southampton on Tuesday? Yes. Will West Ham? Probably not. Although they did a bit at Stamford Bridge last year. Fulham away, they might. Not a problem this weekend. Something to keep an eye on, I would suggest. But Kovacic being back, he's much better press resistant player than what they've got, will help. Zaris says, is Haaland a stark concern? I see a lot of people going with Kane. You look like Raymond Reddington from Blacklist. Okay, I've had worse. But you are more scaring when you block people who repeat questions. I've definitely had worse comparisons than Raymond Reddington. I know who you're talking about. Is Haaland start a concern? Well, yeah. What's to say Harry Kane's going to start against Fulham in 6? I've no doubt about Haaland this week. My instinct is on the way the fixtures are working. So Man City play on the Tuesday in the Champions League. I think now he plays Palace and Forest. I think he probably misses Villa away. That would be my instinct. So an easy way to remember the fixtures is Tottenham are paired with Liverpool, Man City paired with Chelsea. All of Tottenham's home games are on a Wednesday. All of their away games in the Champions League are on a Tuesday. And then you can kind of work it out from there. That's what because I've not looked at the others, I just know that much. So my instinct on Haaland now, having seen that City won't play till play on the Tuesday between 6 and 7, means that I think Haaland will probably get his rest against Villa in 6. Therefore, my intention right now would be to captain him in 5. Let's see how I feel about that come Tuesday, because there is obviously an element of gamble in that. But that's how I'd feel at the moment. And then following that, he played Tottenham, no doubt about it. Then you've got Wolves away before the break. With the Champions League game being on the Wednesday afterwards. So possible, maybe doubt for Wolves, but last game before the international break, I'm probably getting played, I think. Remember, Norway obviously not trying to qualify for the World Cup, so don't be surprised if Haaland's got a little, I need a 2-week break. It's a possibility. So I think people are overthinking it. Honestly, I think if Tottenham had played Marseille on the Tuesday in the Champions League between 6-7, I think there's every chance Kane would have been rested against Fulham. I think that's probably now unlikely, but it spins the other way. I wouldn't be hugely shocked if Kane gets rested in one of the Champions League games now, ironically. Possibly even Sporting Lisbon away, the way it's worked out. But yeah, the idea that Harry Kane's going to play 90 minutes every single game is over. Every single big player is going to go through this. On that note as well, I think Liverpool obviously don't play till the Wednesday between 6-7. That should be good news for Mo Salah's prospects over the next three games as well. That said, the Everton game is 12:30 next Saturday, and Klopp's Klopp hates it, doesn't he? He absolutely hates the Wednesday night and then the Saturday lunchtime. Admittedly, both games are local, despite obviously Everton being an away game. I wouldn't be hugely shocked if he still left Salah out for Everton, particularly with Nunes back available for that fixture. So you can make this narrative, honestly, for every single player. Erling Haaland, we know factually, is getting rest. I also know that, in my opinion, if you said Haaland's going to play 2 times this week, Palace at home and Nottingham Forest, I think he outscores Kane's 3 games. So decide how you want. Patrick Lawson says, morning James, I suppose Son to Salah on free transfer is far too obvious to ignore. Yeah. You got the money in the bank to do it. Yeah, you do it, mate, I think, at the moment. Mikel Pawson says, morning James, I have a pickle. What to do with Maddison? Well, it depends what you've got as coverage. So they don't play again until Thursday in Game Week 5. As said right at the top of the stream, Sam Martin has tweeted that he thinks he's probably not going to be fit. So we have to take note of that. Sam's obviously got contacts at Leicester. So it looks like he won't play. What have you got on the bench? Is he a player that you really want to hold with the fixtures coming up? I'd suggest probably not. I'd probably sell, to be honest. Sam Eren says, hi James, Perisic or Dunk for Dean? Perisic for me, mate. Peter G, morning James. Best long-term Sky pick between Caicedo, Kamara, Nico Williams and Ndidi. And Ndidi's potentially going to offer you the captaincy on Thursday. And may prove to be the best one in any case. Longer term might be Nico Williams. Actually, could be, but it's not going to feel like it in the next 2. Your timing is what's more important, I think, Peter. There'll be not a lot between a lot of them. Timing will be important. Patrick Lawson says, thoughts on Isak to Newcastle? Super signing, super talent, nice FPL price at 7 million. I think he'll do really well there. Statement signing for Newcastle. One to keep an eye on, I think, as early as Game Week 6, possibly. Newcastle have a super little run beginning Game Week 8 as well. So very much worth keeping an eye on. I mean, he's top potential, I would say. Not certain it will equate to goal scoring returns of the top level, but super talent. Janenga77 says, morning, thoughts on James rumoured at centre back against Perisic transfer. If I'm set on wildcard in Game Week 5, pretty confident I'll play it. Nah. Same rumours as there's people spreading rumours that they think Sessegnon's going to play, mate. So depends what rumours you're hearing is going to influence your thoughts on that, mate. I would just play James. Meninda says, what do you think about rotating Perisic with Mitrovic, Tony, depending on O'Keefe's lineups? He's spending way too much money on rotation, mate. End of. And look, it's 40 minutes to deadline. Have we got any information on potential leak or anything at this stage? No. So you're going to guarantee that you're going to get it in future weeks? I'll tell you what, the FPL community is going to fucking piss that fella off to the extent that he's going to stop tweeting it, by the way. Why do people nag? He's just going to go, this ain't worth my trouble, and he's going to get caught out. So, no, that's way too much on the rotation, mate. JFPL says, morning, James. And we've also seen Mitrovic scored twice against Liverpool. What are you doing in that situation? Mitrovic, Tony will score against anyone. They're pen takers, mate. JFPL says, morning, James. In a league where you can only have 1 player per team, who would be your Brighton, Brentford and Spurs picks? Brentford, Raya. Brighton, probably Dunk. Spurs, Perisic. Ross Johnson says, have you seen much of Anthony? Looks a serious baller. Cross between Ronaldo and Neymar. Thoughts on price if he comes to Old Trafford? My thoughts are that Manchester United should have gone and bought him for like 50, 60 million months ago and they would have got him. The reason Ajax don't want to let him go is not going to get a replacement at this stage of anywhere near the quality. And Ajax, having already sold Martinez and others, are not desperate for the money. So that's why. Man United now looking to pay well over the odds. Have I seen a lot of him? No. You know, on YouTube, of course, he looks like a fucking baller, mate. There's loads of players. We got Emerson Royal. I looked at Emerson Royal on YouTube. Thought we'd signed fucking Cafu, mate. So, you know, have I seen a lot of him in games? No, truthfully not. He does look a super player. Of course he does. Is he worth that sort of money? United are panicking, aren't they? Sagnik says, Everson and Aki out for Sanchez and Doherty. -4. Got to have fun, right? No, mate. No. Ben Eddington's, I mean, you got to have fun, yeah, but you ain't got to do that. Ben Eddington says, hi, James. I really wanted to have Henry in, but had Dallo week 1. He went down in price and made the quick change to Sanchez, thinking he'd go up with a Romero injury. He obviously hasn't. Where do I go now? My wife has just messaged me to say, I got Saliba for cash in the middle-aged DJ at your local pub. Cheers, wife. Thanks for that. They'll enjoy that bit of info. Wife's gone Saliba for cash if you prefer it, her opinion over mine. Where'd you go now? We probably keep Dallo for this week. I guess at the moment. You can do force it if you can't afford it. You know, just stick. Alistair Hargrew said, did think about Robertson to Williams and Archer to Tony -4. Thoughts pretty sure I'm holding Trippier and benching against Liverpool. Shano83. Hey James, would you keep Neto or sell to Gross or Aronson? Cheers. Good luck this game. You suffered the price drops. So keep good next 3 fixtures for Wolves, I think. James Lovegrove. Morning, James. Was just catching up on your team news stream. Talking tactics. Brilliant, mate. Can tell the hard work that goes into it. Thank you, my man. Voyas Verta says, I somehow still have Bailey. Should I start him over Andreas and Nico? Yes. FPL Planner. Hi, James. If you were wildcarding now, which 2 premiums would you go with? Haaland and Salah. Haaland to Salah, and I'd look to go Salah to De Bruyne actually in midweek, and then back again arguably. Pushcar says, which is the spicy upset fixture this game week? Fulham win or draw at the Emirates? Can't see it. Spicy upset? I don't think I predicted any this week, to be honest. No, not really. I haven't. I've been really dull with my predictions this week. I don't know if people would say Leeds at Brighton. I guess West Ham at Villa is a little bit punty, but I predicted all of the Super League 6 to win, if you will. John Cahill says, morning James, do you think Maddison could be on the move after that muscle injury news? Spurs bound? Extremely unlikely, mate, at this stage. Ben Eddington says, hi mate, looking ahead to a possible game week 8 wildcard. I'm crazy for thinking Leno could be a good pick for 8 to 16. Refers to spreadsheet. Fulham 8 to 16. You got both Manchester clubs in there. You've got West Ham away. You've got Newcastle at home. Fixtures aren't bad, but I mean, is that better than some of the others? I'm not convinced, to be totally honest. You can make a case for a number if you're looking from that specific period. You also don't need to think about it too much now, mate. Wheel Bill says, morning James, hold on to Neto or move to a Leeds mid. It's a hold for me. Dan says, best Romero replacement Sky. Saliba just obvious or anything else? It's just obvious as far as I'm concerned, mate. Made that move myself last week. Jake Price says, have you got any Neeskins, Cabano, Jay Stansfield info this week, James? No, I don't. The info was shared last week in good faith because I've trusted the source that gave it to me. That source doesn't have any info this week, so I've nothing to share. RBK2009 says, worth taking a -4 for Johnny, Kulusevski and Greenwood to Patterson, Harrison and Tony. Really think the latter is due for a purple patch given fixtures. So essentially it's -4 for Tony, right? Get him in if you believe it, mate. I'm not overly keen on that, to be totally honest. Not overly keen. Patterson I presume you're not going to use, I guess. Harrison I guess you are. Johnny's got 3 good fixtures. Kulusevski's got decent fixtures. Greenwood's, I presume, Patterson's replacement for Greenwood. You're trying to change the shape of your squad. If you want to change the shape of the squad and go 3 up front, which I presume this is what it sounds like, fine. Do the -4. Get it done. Jacob Master says, hi James, Bees fan here. Pretty sure De Silva starts alongside Jensen and Norgard today. Damsgaard starting the League Cup will be too soon for him today. Yeah, I'm of the same opinion, Jacob. Good luck this week. Miles Thompson says, morning, James. Would you hold Maddison and play Patterson if he's out? Or would you transfer him out? If so, who would you bring in? Honestly, right now, I'd probably let myself breathe and come down towards Rodrigo or Rashford. Or even Gundo. Gundo could be, depending on how many Man City you've got. Owen O'Neill says, best of luck this week, James. You too, pal. Colin Bugler says, I can't disagree with you that Arsenal Fulham was 3-1 written all over it, but we'll take a draw. Fulham fan, have a great weekend. Good luck, Colin. Hope we're wrong. Hope you get something. Chad Scott says, should I sell Damsgaard for Xhaka? Wow. What's the best 5.5 for this game week? I have Andreas. I also have Alvarez. We'll probably keep him to wildcard. Honestly, really short term, I'd go to Neto. With them 3 fixtures, Newcastle at home, Bournemouth away, Southampton at home, I'd go to Neto. That's the one in the next three weeks, I think, ironically. Shivam says, is there any news of Robertson getting benched? I've not heard of anything, to be totally honest. No. Rudy says a 3-5-2 with KDB and Tony, or 3-4-3 with Gross and Haaland. The KDB-Tony pairing does sound better, I must admit. Miles Thompson, Sky question. I've only used one transfer, but I have Koulibaly and Wilson, who I want to get rid of for this weekend's fixtures. Which team's players would you target to get in for the next few? Thanks. First thing I'd say, Miles, is keep Koulibaly. I'm keeping him. I want to captain him on Tuesday in Sky, so he's staying. Wilson replacements, did discuss this on something yesterday. Saliba, obvious, if you can switch that back. Mitrovic, similar price up front. Midfielders, I'd arguably come right down to the enablers. Give yourself some time. I think irrespective of the fixtures, I think Mitrovic, if you want to stay at that valuation, he's decent. Honestly, he'll probably get 2 in the next 4 or so. There isn't many captaincy options. You argued that Friday night against Forest. Remember, entry points into Fulham is difficult. So if you go Mitrovic and he does continue to perform well, not many else are going to be on that in Sky Fantasy. Koulibaly I would definitely keep, mate. Chad Scott says, news on Robertson. Is he playing? Mate, we've just done this. Charlie Bridge, hi James, going to any games this weekend? Yep, I'll be in Nottingham tomorrow, mate. Can you Spurs? Ben Eddington, very much looking forward to meeting Ricky Saunders and Mark Subbins on the train up as well. We might have our own little private clash of the correspondence on the train. Ben Eddington says, hi James, sorry for all the questions. Is there any cause of concern on Saka and his price increases, or should I just see him as a good player and a good asset? Yeah, he's a good player and a good asset. Unfortunately, at the moment, it's difficult not to make the case that Martinelli's worth the saving. That said, if you've got Saka rather than Jesus and you've already got Martinelli, just stick with it at a minute, to be totally honest, unless you really want to dive into Jesus because you think he's going to be so much better than Saka. And Inda Das says, which team's attackers should I buy first based on form/fixture? Brighton, Brentford or Leeds? Well, form is Leeds, isn't it? Fixture is Brentford. Tony. Joshua Deef, I want to replace Trent. Who would you get rid of? I want to replace Trent. Who would you get rid of? So you want to sell Trent and you want to get rid of someone else. I don't understand the question. What I'd say is I wouldn't sell Trent Alexander-Arnold for fucking anybody today. Owen Jones says, hey James, I'm a Sun backer for 3 game weeks. Finally sold -4. Son and Bailey to Gundogan and Diaz. Good luck if you've held. Good luck to you too, mate. Obviously, as a Sun owner and a Sun Tottenham supporter, yep, that absolutely fucking bums for you, mate. But good luck. Real boring question, but do you think Johnny or Ait-Nouri starts this week? I'm trapped on Ait-Nouri's next 3 and I'm waiting to be hurt by the benching. It's worth saying Semedo's fit. And I think we probably can expect a little bit of rotation over the 3 for Wolves, because remember they play Sunday, Wednesday, Saturday, which for the fullbacks might be tough ask. I would expect the same 2 this weekend of Johnny and Ait-Nouri. You may see that change from the Bournemouth game. I can't really answer it much better than that. Mr. Dyer says, what do you think of Nico Williams to Rico Henry for a luxury transfer? Okay, it's fine. I mean, it's an upgrade, isn't it? And TJ says, hi James, hope you're well. Is buying Van Dijk for Walker a good idea? I have Cancelo but no Liverpool defender. Thanks, James. Well, I think most people would say if you're not on a Liverpool defender, leave it at the moment, because being differential and not having it served you quite well. I would want to pay the extra for one of the other Liverpool guys. And Van Dijk for Walker. Not with these 2 City fixtures coming up, I don't think either. No, not for me. Just going to see if we've got any potential news knocking about. I don't think we do currently by the looks of it. Nothing of interest to share. I'm not one for fake news. Remember to have FPL Booner on mute, guys, before someone puts it in the chat. Right, who's next? TQ yourself. TK Youssef, sorry, 82. Hello. Bernardo Silva graded for 2 to 3 game weeks. I don't mind the graders or Nunes punt, actually. I think Bernardo Silva, though, would be worth the extra, in my opinion. Jaron Lee, if you had to bet right now, would you say Sessegnon or Perisic starts versus Forest? Perisic. That's it. Chance 70%, I'd say, I think. Possibly even a little bit more. As I tweeted last night with Sessegnon, I'm really whatevs about it. I've been far more focused on trying to get to Lisbon and organising Nottingham tomorrow and stuff, and I'm just whatevs. Honestly, is my take. If Paul O'Keefe tweets in the next 20 minutes that Perisic is starting, then I'll put Josh Da Silva in the team and just leave it be. Ollie Kitson says, who would you start out of Harrison and Walker? Already have Cancelo. Walker, mate. Man City defender, you're not playing him at home. Play Walker, mate. Tom Sleeman, thanks for advising me not to buy Hudson-Odoi last week. I mean, that's one of the easiest answers I ever give, I should imagine. Looks like he's about to join Leverkusen on loan. Yeah, that's been rumoured all week, actually. Reese Kemp says, would you play Harrison or Dunk? I possibly chance Harrison, actually. I've kind of fancy Leeds to score. I've got an awful record against Brighton historically. Yeah, probably Harrison, just about. Prashan says, De Silva or Andres? This is the point, guys, where guess what I'm going to do now, right? For all the latecomers. Because we can't just be having this shit every week, can we? Right. Benching dilemmas. Okay, look, what we're going to do here, we're going to take them off and make it really obvious of exactly where they are, right? Benching dilemmas. Page 1. Perisic over Mitrovic over Maddison over Rodrigo over Trippier. Page 2. Trippier over Gross over Neto over Cash over me. These ones over are the preferred options of the two. Me over Dunk over Bailey over De Silva over Share for page 3. Page 4 is Share over Pereira over Dewsbury Hall over Williams over Patterson. And that will rotate in a minute and show you the goalkeepers as well. We've all got it now, haven't we? Wicked. So who inserted? Jungle is massive. Absurdologist says, hola. Castagne to Dunk on a free transfer. Start De Silva and roll. I mean, yeah, I'd probably be looking to move Castagne on. I think timing with the fixtures seems right. Paul Woodhead says, Sky question, Haaland to Kane tomorrow is a medium-term move. Already have Cancelo and Rodri, so have City cover if needed. Yes, okay, reasonable. What you have to consider is how you're going to feel if Erling Haaland's in that team Wednesday night against Nottingham Forest and you don't have him. Now, you have players that can go against. So I think for you, the answer is possibly yes. I think it's fair to say we can expect Haaland to miss one of Forest or Villa, or let's say at least not start at the moment. And yes, my expectation right now would be that Kane probably does play all three. So you've got 3 for 1, then they're going to play each other. You may be stuck for a while. Just consider that if you sell, look ahead, you may find it very difficult to find the timing to go back to Erling Haaland. That's all I would say on that. But it's fine. I'm going to have a strong look at similar move tonight. I don't have Haaland at the moment, so I'm probably less likely to make that move. I will be deep in the planner tonight, probably about 1 o'clock in the morning. Have about 5 hours kip, I should imagine. Then I'm going to Forest. Ziggy HD says, morning James, got to try to prove a point to my mate and gain some points back with a risk. Captain Martinelli or Rodrigo? Definitely Martinelli out of those two if that's what you want to do. It's worth saying, mate, it's game week 4 coming up. That means you've got another 34 game weeks after this one to go differential captains. Notorious Nerd says, is Ruben Diaz to Perisic a good transfer if you have one free transfer? I'm going to say no. Not in the immediate. Not in the immediate. With Aki out injured as well, I think we're going to get the Diaz minutes, aren't we? Now, for probably at least the next 2, then reassess. So I'm going to say no. Deadly Mantis says, rolling my transfer, locked in. Galazzo Bayet says, will Doherty start? I'm sure he will at some point this week. I'd be surprised if he starts tomorrow. Laser79 says, good morning, James. Leeds midfielder for game week 5. Harrison or Rodrigo. Heading out to see the Saints play United soon. Hope you have a great weekend. I repeat what I said yesterday. All the noises from the majority of Leeds fans is they still do not see Rodrigo as a guaranteed first choice starter. That could change in the coming weeks. Bamford is probably not going to start today, but he's basically available. And they're not convinced that Rodrigo will either A, stay in that position, or B, even stay in the team. That said, if it was me right now, I'd go Rodrigo. I'd punt it while the going's good and trust that his form might keep him in that team. That would be my take at the moment. So for me, Rodrigo. I think a lot of Leeds fans, though, would probably say to you, Harrison. Shafiq Denial says, hey James, question for you. Do you think Rodrigo will earn points from this game week, considering that Brighton kept clean sheets against Leeds for their past 2 games? No, I think it's probably a blank. There you go. That's very contradicting, isn't it? I only answer each question on its merits. The thing is, if you go Rodrigo, you're walking into Everton next midweek, right? And you're going to feel good about that, even if he blanks today. Janega77 says, Haaland to Kane looks on in game week 6. Kane 3-day rest before UCL at home. Haaland 2-day rest away to Seville. Tough. Yep, there's certainly a case for that. I mean, looking at my principle is, with the way it is at the moment, if Haaland was to play against Forest, and I'm saying he's probably not playing against Villa, then yeah, going into Kane for 1 week in 6 and then going back is every possibility of gaining and swapping a bit of value doing that as well, should Kane do well against Fulham. Quite right. This is part of the reason why I rolled this week, because I think the power of information is more important this week. Gareth Pritchard says his grade is a good pick. It's been lively. Looks good against us last week. I'd probably be looking at maybe saving on Nunes currently, but worth keeping an eye on. Dynamite Don says, hi James, hope all well, start Henry. I feel like when I check grade is his price now. 6, isn't he? Is it 6? I've had a moment of doubt, and that's really annoyed me. Sorry, gang. Grade is he's 6. Yeah, I'd save the money with Nunes personally. Hi James, hope as well. Start Henry or Dunk, says Dynamite Dons. Preference with Henry. Ben Eddington says, would there be any merit to do a Haaland Alvarez double up with UCL? I mean, it's like the Perisic and Sessegnon double up, isn't it? I mean, probably no, in all honesty. How often is Alvarez really going to start as it looks at the moment? Doesn't look often, does it? And you can have for the same price, in fact for cheaper, you can have Reece James. Just consider that. Ian says, hi James, Ian from Melbourne, Australia, love the show, good luck for the game week. Hoddle or Gaza, Lineker or Kane? Brilliant questions. Bias in my opinion that I would choose Gaza because I didn't have the preference of watching Hoddle live, but I think Hoddle would get the nod from most Tottenham fans of an older generation in terms of longevity as well. Gascoigne was basically 3 seasons. Hoddle did it for Spurs for 10 years. That's important. And Hoddle's so graceful in terms of his ball distribution. Gascoigne was a phenomenon in the sense that he really should have become the best player in the world. Kane over Lineker by absolute miles, honestly. Love Gary was kind of my first footballing hero actually. In front of goal and movement in and around the box, incredible, absolutely incredible. Kane all round package would have to be. Gareth Pritchard says his grade is a good option, transferred him in. You've transferred him in, mate, so what happens now if I say shit? No, he's shit, take a -4 to get rid of him. What are you going to do? I despise this. You've brought him in, you've done it. You don't need my opinion. You've had conviction in your own, which is good, Gareth. Yeah, it's fine. Like I said, I would have made the saving on Nunes personally. Birth Media says, which Chelsea player would you captain this game with? Cheers, Jimbo. If I had to captain one, probably Reece James. I think he'd play wingback. Keith does gaming. Morning, James. Good luck for this game week. You too. Good man, Danny McDonald. Thanks very much. Looks like we may have a Paul O'Keefe predicted Tottenham team. Unchanged. So it's a prediction, and his prediction will be based on the inside knowledge that he has and what was probably been practiced in training. Remember, they will train again today and tomorrow morning so people can pick up injuries, etc. But he's predicted Loris, Sanchez, Dyer, Davis, Emerson, Bentancur, Højbjerg, Perisic, Kulusevski, Kane and Son. Do I start Josh Da Silva with that information? It's close. Because I still think Sessegnon could do a bit of damage late in the game, possibly. And I'm conscious that, yes, they'll train a couple of times before tomorrow as well, and shit can always hit the fan. Okay, going to give that a little bit of thought. United Gaio says, who do you think gets more points next 3 weeks, Haaland or Kane? Haaland. Honest answer. Because I think as it stands, Haaland starts against Forest. And I... that's enough. Mustafa Hassan says, start Foden or Cucurella. You got Phil Foden, you play him, surely. And I think he starts as well. Owen Walsh says, you're right, mate, they'll kill the golden goose ball. O'Keefe, good luck. Mickey Race, morning, James, hope you're well. Thanks for all you do for us. Come on, you Spurs. Luke H says, all the best, James, have a good weekend, mate. James Brennan says, hi, James, for the -56, would you start Saliba on Bumo? Cheers, man, have a great weekend. And Bumo with that fixture, I think, mate, to be totally honest. Thanks very much as well, Ben Cameron. I've got that, patrons. Much appreciated. Cheers. Luke H says, all the best, James. Have a good weekend, mate. James Brennan, that's what we've done. Ragav says, morning, James. Am I mad in going with Alvarez, KDB and Gundogan in my wild card? Thanks as always. Please like everyone. It's not mad. It's what you've chosen, mate. And I genuinely, I get this all the time. What would you do if you was on? What would you advise me to do on my wild card? On your wild card, you should go with what you believe. There's so many variances to a wild card. I don't know what you're planning to do in terms of future transfers, what you want to do in future weeks if you want to take hits, who you got for rotation. So go with what you believe, mate. Personally, no, I wouldn't do it. Personally. But if you believe in it, you crack on, mate. Virtual says, thoughts on Mount Gross or Rodrigo Trossard? Question. I'd Rodrigo at the moment because of what's to come after this week. RBK 2009, 2 free transfers, don't want to burn. Change Ward to another 4.0 or switch Johnny to Dunk to strengthen bench defenders. I think you've answered your own question there, mate. I think I'd leave it with Ward at the moment. Just leave him in. Till we get Leicester information in terms of if something might change in the next week or so, and it might. So yeah, if you believe Dunk is going to be a better choice than Johnny for you in the long run, then I'd make the move. Aaron Frost says, morning mate, undecided on burning a transfer or doing Ward and Bailey to Everson and Gross. Rest of the team is good with 2 free transfers in the bank. Cheers. I would personally be considering Bailey to Pereira or Bailey to De Silva if you don't already have both. That's rather than what you're doing now, personally. It's nothing for nothing, isn't it? For me. Anthony says, hi, look at it this way. Bailey was to start today. Do you truly believe Gross is a better option than Bailey? It's close, isn't it? Anthony says, hi James, who's the best Wilson replacement in Sky? I've done this one already a bit earlier in the stream, mate. Thanks for your cue. Ryan Walker says, when is it you're thinking of wildcarding? Shuffling it up once we have more info regarding UCL rotation. I'm kind of open to it at any kind of point at the moment, but yeah, my thoughts are this Pretenders period. I might just go for it. I really might just go in with like Vardy, Isak, Bowen, Maddison, and just go for it. I might do. That's where I'm probably leaning at the moment. I'm also not against the idea of doing it quite late. Just the last 4 game weeks or so. At the moment, it feels like doing it for the sake of it. I really considered doing it on Monday night because I had a lot of potential price changes. Possible Robertson losing value. Possible Trent. Possible Sonny. And actually looking at doing it and just saving on the value and stuff. And I decided it wasn't worth it. So at the moment, I have no plan. I'm very open. If I was to get 3 injuries today, for example, I'd probably wildcarding tonight. That's where I'm at with it at the moment. Jen Jacobson says, Rashford or Perisic? To buy Perisic, I mean, to be honest, we've got the information. It looks like, you know, if you ask me now, what's your confidence in Perisic playing at this stage? I'd say sort of 95% at this stage, based on Paul's information. So Perisic. Andy P says, Perisic, any news? You've covered that, mate. Joe Finney Badder, morning, James. Start session on Neto. Looks like it's Neto now, mate. Colin Bugler, don't forget to hit the like, people. That's true. How many likes we got? Sort of 600-ish in here on the stream. Great to see you all. Less than 100 likes. You're all fucking insulting my intelligence, I think, guys. Smash that button. Hit the sub button. You know, this shit's all free. Chim says, have a team with no top 6 teams. Which 3 would you start out of? Hickey, Christensen, Trippier and Dunk. Good question. I would probably bench Christensen out of that. Mark Oaksine says, thoughts on Cancelo to Trippier for the saving and work towards Archer to Isak. It's a reasonable move in game week 6, not now. Peter Gray says, close to 60 likes, people. Let's get the stream here there at least. I want to believe. Lol. Cheers, Peter. Chim says, have Raya as keeper. Utsaf says, hello, James. Is bringing in Zinchenko for Walker a good move? I have doubts on Zinchenko place in that Arsenal squad. At the moment, no, I'd just leave it be. Rasmus says, for your information, Andy, Let's Talk Liverpool source has said that Robertson starts. Cheers, mate. That's good to know. Cheers, appreciate that. Patrons, why aren't you telling me that? Why isn't someone watching Andy instead of me? We also have, according to News and Ticks, thanks Chris Tellis for sharing that, unchanged Manchester United lineup from the victory against Liverpool. Same 11, so that's no start for Ronaldo. That's still McTominay in instead of Casemiro. No Maguire. Same back 4, according to him, that started against Liverpool on Monday night. Karan says, United team same as last week. Cheers, mate. Chasta says, hey, James, thoughts on Gundogan and Jesus for Grealish and Vardy for a hit? Thank you. Yeah, don't mind that. Cheers, Karan. Prince Hunt says, I feel like I have to be careful there. Hi James, chance of Dotty starting for Spurs anytime soon for fantasy draft, not FPL. Every chance he'll start at West Ham or against Fulham, mate. Every possible chance. Right, who's next? Just keeping an eye on news as we're so close to deadline here, guys. Paul's just added as well, by the way, on his prediction. This is just a prediction. I'm not responsible for your fantasy teams. In relation to his prediction, and he always stresses that it is a prediction. I just know that he does have connections. Doesn't mean shit can't change. Like I said, Tottenham won't have trained yet today. They'll probably be training the next couple of hours, and they'll train again even in the morning. And people can get ill and shit can happen. So don't shoot the man. Like, stop tweeting him. He'll tweet. If he's got information he thinks he wants to share, he'll share it. Stop tweeting him. FPL Glasto says, morning, good luck all. Billy Anderson, hi mate. Should I hold Saka and Robertson for one more week? Bearing in mind I have Ward, the clown. Yeah, just get on with it, mate. Teco says, should I sell Zaha for Nico and roll the transfer, or take out Zaha for Aguedes and bench Nico? You want to keep Zaha, really, don't we? Don't know the extent of the injury. I'd sell. I still think them Palace fixtures are pretty rough. Brentford, Newcastle United, Brighton, Chelsea are the next 5. I don't think they're great. I would sell, personally. And I'd come down and save the money and give yourself some thinking space. Tarek says, hey James, would you bench Rodrigo, Mitrovic or James? Out of that lot, Rodrigo, very reluctantly. Little says, Gordon or Aronson this week only, Aronson. Emily says, hey James, is Zaha injured? He has a flag. Do I just hold? He's not going to play. That's been confirmed by, I think it's Matt Crossman. He's the Palace Athletic journalist. He's confirmed he's not travelled. He's not going to play. Whether you hold or not, it's kind of based on what I just said. That's up to you. FPL Glasso, let's talk, said Man United unchanged. Thank you. Little says, 1 week punt, Gordon or Aronson. I'm not going to see that again, am I, Little? Because otherwise I won't be seeing you again. Lisa says, I let my daughter decide if I should jump on Fofana at 4.4 for Cucurella and upgrade Bailey to Rodrigo. She said yes, so I've done it. On a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being stupid, how dumb have I been? You're having fun with your child, mate. It's great. Don't worry about it. There's more important things in life than FPL. Bronny and Bronze, I'm doing Neto to Gross. Cheers. FPL Borat says, hello. Should I captain my friend Mr. Jesus? Captaincy preferences on the bottom right of the screen, mate. Also, FPL Borat also says, wah wah wee wah, which I feel like needed a wah wah wee wah. Right, do I start Josh De Silva, James? Do I do it? Or do I leave it? Josh De Silva or leave it? Josh De Silva or leave it? I think, really, you have to act on the information, is my instinct, I think. It feels like the right thing to do. As Paul said, that information is not 100% correct. I just know I'd be a bit gutted if I turn up tomorrow and Session's in the starting 11. But I'm not expecting him to be in any case. So I think Josh De Silva in for Ryan Sessegnon. I think we'll make Andreas Pereira first sub. And we'll leave it at that, I think. I have an OCD problem, so I've got to get De Silva into a central position. Luis Diaz, you can play out of position on the right. There you go. So yes, I've brought Josh De Silva into the starting lineup ahead of Ryan Sessegnon. Your team has been saved, according to the official FPL website. I also make a circa 2.5 minutes or so from deadline, guys. So do make sure you're getting yourselves locked in before you get caught out. Right, let's do some real quick fire. I'll just keep an eye on my Patreon comments. Nothing from the guys. Lintian Bell, when you said you were going to make the benching dilemmas more obvious for the latecomers, I thought you were going to move it to the middle of the screen. I could have done that as well, and people would still fucking ignore it, mate. Away says, should I change Neto to Jensen? Or Jensen, rather. Or De Silva Brentford fixtures. Excellent. I don't know who's more likely to get more returns. Tom Med covered on COTC on Thursday. Not big on going for Jensen. Just save the money with De Silva, to be totally honest. Neither are going to do massive bits. John says, will Haaland start? I don't see why he wouldn't. Alan Cronin says, hi James, on wildcard have Salah captain already. Trying to pick between Luis Diaz, Sancho and Ward-Prowse for the final midfield spot. Any thoughts? Good luck for the weekend. Yeah, Diaz out of them, mate, and then downgrade to one of the others if you don't like it. Razwan says, start Bailey on Neto. They're on the bench in dilemmas. I'm going to say Neto. Actually, to be honest, Neto. Oh, yeah, Neto is on it, yeah. Philip, Michael Music says, Perisic start. I see you have Sessegnon. Yeah, looks like he is starting. Fly Flintstone, hey James, thoughts on Harrison over Cucurella? Not keen. Thomas Baker says, what would happen if you have 3 Arsenal players and Neto moves to Arsenal and you also have him in your team? You'll have 4 Arsenal players, but next time you make a transfer, you'll have to sell one. Bronian Bronze says, when a non-Australian pronounces Melbourne correctly, I don't know if I did it right though. P. Macca says, is it because in America, Melbourne? P. Macca says, Thomas, they don't let you make any more transfers till you sell one. Omar6781 says, if I were to bench one of those 3, who would it be? Gross or Rodrigo or Perisic? Gross for me. NK, we've done this, mate. FPL Chits, Perisic is playing. Do I take a hit for Walker? He's not definitely playing. The information suggests that he's playing. No, and I wouldn't. Callum Penny says, had a beer or 4 last night and had the craziest wildcard draft at the ready. Woke up today and saw my screenshot. I'm glad I fell asleep. Addy Tour says, poor Keith, we've got it. Yeah, Jack Tasker, thank you. Jonathan Gordon, do you think the prize for winning FPL should be larger, as in a cash prize? Can't do cash prizes because it's a worldwide global game and there's many territories that won't allow that sort of thing. Jacko says, hi James, is there a reason you don't have Super Chat turned on for YouTube? Need to raise that Lisbon money. Thank you, mate. I'm not saying I'll never turn on Super Chat, but as it is, I get through all the questions anyway. If you want to support the content, we'd love to have your support on patreon.com/planetfpl. You're very welcome, says Tex. Ryan Richards, or any good cheap replacements for Neto or Bailey? Honestly, I'd keep Neto at this moment. Big Geek says, hi James, Gibb White possibly injury, a reason to move him out in Sky or worth holding for the Forest single game day? We think he'll be available tomorrow, but judging by Steve Cooper's comments after the Grimsby win, probably suggests he won't start. I would probably move it. Ben M says 0.5 in the bank. Ward and Everson currently priced out of Sanchez. Do I go Raya or stick? Seems like a good time to go to Raya, to be honest. You're very welcome as well, Ben. No problem. Absurdologist just said Da Silva. That's great. Prashan says thoughts on Kulusevski, possible rotation. Kudo to Gundo, Gameweek 5. Yes, it's possible. Ryan Richards says thoughts about Elanga. Good talent, wouldn't be interested for fantasy as yet. Owen Jones says, you made a great effort to answer my question. Just saw it. He always puts the hard yard in, this James fella. Thank you, bud. Have a great Sundas hauling weekend. God, Sonny. Adrian Fabian says, Shah over James. Question, not having that. Sisman says, James or Tony. I'm going to say James. Bronian Bronze says, it's pronounced Melbourne. Okay, cool. Great. Deadline. I believe we're here. And that's your questions done. Timing's good, isn't it? Super. Right, if anyone's got any non-FPL questions, feel free to throw them in the chat now, whether it's just general football stuff, life stuff, whatever. 4,500 or so of you that are in, there's about half of you haven't hit the like button. Please hit the like button. Please hit the subscribe button. Be much appreciated. While I wait for some questions to come in, let me tell you about our content for the week ahead. So Suj is joining me on Monday for the Game Week 4 review as per normal, and then he's disappearing for a week. On Tuesday, out early for you, Clash of the Correspondents, Bournemouth versus Wolves with Neil Grover and Bradley Parker. Wednesday will be Sky Fantasy Football. My guest will be Luke Williams, as many of you will know as Dis or Disable on Sky. Proper good player and a proper good bloke. Thursday, Clash of the Correspondents again will be Manchester United versus Arsenal with Gary Robinson and Adam Pritchard. On Friday, Luke Bora, who you may know as FPL Irons, will be joining me for the Game Week 5 review podcast. And as mentioned at the top of the show, Tom Campbell will be joining me for the Game Week 6 review podcast the following Monday. I don't know if Suj is going to be back for the People's Poll on the Tuesday. I can certainly say we'll be doing a UEFA Champions League fantasy podcast on Patreon on that Tuesday. Patreon content for intermediate and advanced tier patrons this week is our Q&A on Monday. On Tuesday, Clayton Gooner is joining me for the Differential Show Game Week 5 preview. On Wednesday, Shamil Galani, FPL 2 Guys 1 Cup, is joining me for Tottenham to preview Wednesday night's Tottenham derby, the Planet FPL derby, and Suj isn't even around. I will be at Westfield Shopping Centre on Wednesday night. On Thursday, I'll be doing an Ask James stream exclusively for patrons on all tier levels. And on Friday, Adam Gearing will be joining me for the Gameweek 6 differential show preview. And the following Monday, Lewis Browning will be joining me for our Q&A on Patreon. We've got some top guests in the coming weeks. All fucking patrons. All of them. Nice to give them some exposure as well. There will be advanced tier content as well, which is likely to feature away days videos this week from Nottingham Forest and West Ham United. I need to have a serious think about what the rest of it's going to look like, because with a midweek deadline, it's going to be some tough going, but you can probably expect around about 15 bits of extra content at advanced tier. And if you don't want the extra content, you just want to say thanks because I haven't opened up the fucking super chat or anything, you can support us on Patreon from £3 a month, which gets you access to the Slack channel and all the team leaks and all that kind of shit that goes on that the patrons keep an eye on, which means that I don't particularly have to. You can support us at www.patreon.com/Planet FPL. Right, let's get into the comments. Atul Balaji says we should have a betting pot for which game week Paul O'Keefe stops tweeting his predictions due to FPL harassment. Probably the next one, mate, to be totally honest. Literally, the obsession with people, I just don't get it. You're just going to drive them to insane. And he's going to stop getting the information. It's just become so obvious. Same as happened with accounts in the past. It becomes so obvious and they get pulled. Bronny and Bronze. By the way, I wouldn't be surprised if that information from him is legitimately just a prediction. I would not be surprised. Because as I said, the final training session is probably going to be today. So I wouldn't be surprised. I could have made a big mistake just putting Josh Da Silva in that team. But I think based on the information available, it's probably the right decision. Bronny and Bronze, good luck. Time to stay up till 3 AM to watch the matches. Enjoy. Alexandro Pickering says, hi Jim. If animals could talk, which would be the most boring? Great insight. Cheers. I'm going to say a giraffe. No one even knows what noise giraffes make. Imagine that. I've got a 3-year-old son, so you make animal noises to help. Giraffe. What noise does a giraffe make? I don't know, son. I don't know. I literally have no idea. What noise do a giraffes make? So there you go, giraffes. Adrian Fabian says, thanks, Change. Very welcome. P. Macker says, Jaffa cakes, biscuits or cakes. Oh, God, we've done this loads of times. Gonna say both. They are called cakes. But for me, they are biscuits. But they're not hard enough. You honestly, you could put them in either. Hussein Ali says, Izalan's gonna play for United. I don't know who Ilan's is, but I'm gonna guess Hussein that you meant, and to be fair, I can see you have corrected it. Elanga. Yes, the word is that he's starting. Tim Crescent says, any stadiums on an away day you want to visit to tick off the list in Europe? Yeah, Sporting fucking Lisbon. I'm really annoyed. Really annoyed. I looked at the pricing for all 12 possibilities of the date that we could play them. And the date that's been given was the third worst anyway from a price perspective as it was. I just can't justify paying this ridiculous amount of money for one game, which it's gonna cock up work. There's so many influences on it as well. Only going for a day, can't enjoy it as much. I miss my son for a day and stuff. There's so many reasons when the expense just gets too far and you just have to question it and go, is this worth it? So, like I said, I'm waiting on a couple of potential travel options that I want to look at. But if they're no good, then no, I'm not going. In terms of the big stadiums in Europe, I'm very blessed that I feel like I've done them. I've seen Tottenham in the Nou Camp. I've seen Tottenham in the Bernabeu. I've seen Tottenham in the Allianz. I've seen Tottenham in the San Siro. I've seen Tottenham in the Johan Cruyff Arena. I've seen Tottenham in the Wanda Metropolitano. I've been extremely blessed. Extremely blessed. I would like to go to the Mestalla. Is one, I think they've been trying to build a new stadium forever, and it's kind of the new project is sitting pretty dormant at the moment. I would like to go to the Mestalla one day. That would maybe be one. Oh, I've done Dortmund as well. I've done it. How did I miss that off the list? I've been so blessed. Paris Saint-Germain I want to go, but from a stadium perspective, not. not overly fussed. I'm not overly fussed about Lisbon. I haven't seen Tottenham in the Champions League for 3 years, and I wanted to go away somewhere. Hopefully, I'll be able to go somewhere in the knockout stage. But no, I've been blessed. I've done most of them. Ibrox. I have been to Parkhead. I've seen Tottenham at Parkhead in a friendly. I would love to have got either of them too. I feel like I've done the ones that when I was a kid you said I've done them and more. I've been extremely blessed to go to places I never thought I'd get to. Big Geek says, where would you go to from Gibbs White? Still Polinia for them tackles? Yeah. And then obviously in that case, if that's where you're going today, if you don't have him, my friend, he's looking like he's potentially going to be the obvious one. So yeah, I'd get him in today. Birth Media says, which striker would suit Chelsea, Tony or Ronaldo or any other option? I think Ronaldo will suit anybody anymore, to be honest. So Tony, I'd be very surprised if Brentford sold to Chelsea, by the way, unless it was astronomical money. I think Chelsea will be signing Aubameyang this week, to be totally honest. Thank you very much, FPL Chips. Michael Ward says, will Emerson nail down a starting berth at West Ham? I think he probably will. I think there's a little bit dependent on the system with that. He has defensive problems, but I think Aaron Cresswell has had... he's aging, let's say. And I think he's had a more difficult last 6 months or so. So West Ham had to buy someone in that position. I think if they go to 3 at the back, then he's very likely to get in. Back 4 may take a little bit longer, but he's a player that we should very much have our eyes on for FPL. Because realistically, if he gets in, that's better defensive prospect than Forest and Everton, let's be honest, with potential attacking prospects as well. Cole JB says, morning James, hope the chat has behaved today, good luck this week and all. And you too, mate. Hope you get that stuff with do you know what, let's fucking big it up, right? Cole, do we still need a retweet? Alright, here's my people, right? I need you to do something for my friend Cole, right? So get yourselves on Twitter, and I want you to find the handle KJ, as in Kilo. Fuck's J for? It's my own letter. Kilo James, or Katie James. There you go. 83, and then Ben, Ben, and you'll see a tweet from Carl, which is the top tweet that was sent yesterday. And it's about his daughter struggling to get a university place, and I'd love you all to fucking retweet that tweet for me, because I love Carl. Hamad says, any news regarding Perisic? Deadline's gone, mate, and yeah, we've done this. Joe Finney Bader says, do you know your longest unbeaten streak at an away ground? I think mine is the City ground with 2 wins and 1 draw in my 3 trips. Oh, what a good question. What a good question. I can't include Wembley, can I? That's too cheeky. I won't do that. What a great question. After Hull, I've been 3 times and not lost. I've got to have one better than that, surely. Mind you, I've seen a lot of shit, haven't I? No, I've seen this. Wolves. Yeah, Wolves. Loads. Oh shit, we have lost at Wolves. Yeah, 2010. I went, it was snowing. Oh, fucking hell, was it cold? Oh my god. Went and hid downstairs at half time. Absolutely freezing. Lost 1-0. Shit, we just didn't turn up. That was the year we finished 4th for the first time. We just didn't turn up that night. Right, since then, how many more times have I been? I went in 12. We won 2-0. I went with Ricky a couple of years ago. Won 2-1. Vertonghen scored in the last minute. And I went twice last season. That's 4, isn't it? Did I go the year before? Trying to think. Did I go the year before? Why am I blanking? Why am I having a blank? 18-19. What did we fucking do against Wolves? No, it was on a Saturday night. The wife was pregnant. Really pregnant. Like about 8.5 months pregnant. Yeah, watched it here. So I'm on 4 in a row at Wolves now, I think. That's probably going to be the one. Fulham I've seen us get beat. It was quite a while ago. Fulham I'm probably on 3 or 4 as well, I think. Palace, when I've been, I've had a decent record. Shithole though. I don't think I've seen Tottenham lose at Palace. I haven't been to that many because I fucking hate the place. Brighton, couple of wins. I've only been twice, I think. Yeah. Wolves, I think, is probably the most. Do you know what? That's going to be so boring for most people. I don't care. Elron Cupboard says, are you surprised no one came in from Diddy? Seems he would be great fit for Manchester United. I don't think he had a great season last season, to be totally honest. Really, I'm a big fan of his. I don't think he had a good season. So, no, not overly surprised, actually. And I think also in the case, it's about awareness of a club situation. So I think most of us have known this season that Fofana and Tielemans would probably be available. Plus, there's been contract potential negotiations for Maddison. So you look at that on the face and you think Leicester could be losing 3 big players. And they might still... I imagine Maddison will stay. But Fofana's going to go, and I wouldn't be surprised if Tielemans goes in the next couple of days as well. Then you think, how many players are they actually going to sell? So there's probably that. But they're just not in a position to be considering Frondidi at the moment. Luke Curtis, morning James, always a great listen. Good luck for the game week, and to you too, mate. You know what I want this weekend, mate. It's called 3 points tomorrow in Nottingham. That's all I'm bothered about. Michael Lynch says, I reckon a bit like a horse's whinny. Giraffe goes grrr, says Soft Kresk. Michael Lynch says giraffe goes cuckoo. Michael Worf says giraffe noise just googled. It sounds like someone with toothache. Ah! B Macker says giraffe sounds like I'm not saying that when she snores. Michael Lynch, what about the Macarena? Hey Macarena. Neil Zappel says YouTube clip on the giraffe sounded like they say moo, but perhaps they are just voicing the obvious perma captaincy. Michael Lynch says Maracana. This is what happens when you put the bit in the chat long times after I spoke about it. I'd love to go to the Maracana, of course, but it would have been more iconic to go to the original. It's loads you could say, like Olympic Stadium in Rome, but probably a bit dangerous, which is part why I don't really want to go to Marseille or Frankfurt. I'm just not in a position in my life to be taking it. It's not worth it at the moment. Marseille, if something is viable, I haven't completely ruled it out if I can't get to Lisbon. Anyway, the one I really want to go to South America is La Bombonera. I'd love to go to Boca Juniors. I've said this so many times. It would be a life ambition to go to a Boca Juniors River Plate game at La Bombonera before I leave this earth. But I think that's many years away and the timing would have to be right. But it might be one, yeah. That would be the one, I guess, really. Bronian Bronze, have you been to a rainy night at Stoke? Yes, hasn't everyone. Danelius says, Juliet. Neil Zappel's done, retweeted. You're very welcome, Cole. No problem, mate. Love you, mate. United Gaiowo says, have you got it sorted, though, Cole? Have we had an update? United Gaiowo says, I brought Kane and Perisic from -4 for Holland and Walker. Am I a madman, James? No, mate, you've done it. Good luck. Can I be honest? I literally, once I saw -4, I literally read out loud what you'd written and I didn't really have any care for it because I knew it was FPL. Here you go. Neil Zappels has put the handle in the chat for Cole's Twitter. Lin Tian Bell says, hey, James, highest scoring game you've watched? Motherwell and Hibernian 6-6. Can I have that? Or you mean personally? Personally, it's got to be 9-1 against Wigan, 6-4 against Reading. Can't have seen more than 10, have I? Surely not. It's got to be those. Got to be those two, I think. 7-2 against Southampton's 9. Yeah, it's got to be the Wigan game in 2009 and the Reading game in 2000 and very late 2000. Actually, was it 2007 or 2008? It was winter time. I feel like it was late 2007 from memory. Michael Lynch, your memory's unreal, mate. Cheers, mate. Atul Balaji says, why does everyone hate the Palace Stadium? I hear a lot of Wolves away fans complain about it too. It shouldn't pass a fucking health and safety certificate, mate. It really shouldn't. The only good thing about Palace is because the toilets are porta cabins outside, you can have a smoke and no one says anything. That's literally the only good thing about Palace. It's too close together. It's very flat. It's very difficult, depending on where you are, and especially someone of my height, being a little fella. It's very difficult to see certain areas of the pitch. It's not even screens that you can turn to. On the Sainsbury's end, if you're too far towards the goal, you can't see the screen even. So you really are blind at certain points. I think they've improved it in the sense they've blocked off the first couple of rows now in the Arthur Waite stand, which I think's made it a bit better. But I fell about laughing when I heard Steve Parish talking about the idea of Crystal Palace hosting games if England won a World Cup bid. Like, my God. It is worth saying the opposite side, they had planning application in to rebuild it. Big, massive stand. I think quite similar to Villa's main stand. But they'd let that expire because they wanted to change the plans. They've got a new planning application going in now. But I don't think there's a lot they can do with the Arthur Waite. Part of the problem is, as well, is it's on a hill. It's really unique. It's not flat road. It's actually going down a hill. So I don't know from an infrastructure perspective that makes it really difficult. But even if they just knocked it and actually built something just a little bit fucking steeper with a similar capacity that went up rather than back, because it goes back quite far, it just doesn't go up, would be a lot better. Would be a lot better. So I'm not against going there, but I'll be totally honest. If I go to Palace again, I really couldn't give a shit where my ticket is. I'm going to stand at the front. And people who know me know I'd rather have the perspective and be up higher. Absolutely. But yeah, if I go to Palace again, which I'm sure I will do it, so I'm just going to go and stand near the front. And from that perspective, it's better if I just go on my own. Don't have responsibility for someone else. Just go and stand in the middle of the front, second row or something, and get as good a view as I can of the pitch. Paul Woodhead says, for Lisbon, is flying to Faro or Porto an option for you? They're not options, because the absolute killer on Lisbon as well is 5:45 kickoff. So you've got to get to a Porto or Faro. Then you've probably got about 2 to 3 hour train, depending on where you go as well. It's a killer. What am I going to do? Get there there's a flight I can get as well, which is a lot cheaper. Gets to Lisbon 2 hours before kickoff. Sod that, mate. Any delay, then you've still got to get from the airport to the stadium. Where am I dropping bags off for a hotel and stuff? No, there are too many things at the moment that just it's not worth it. I'm not that. It's not the fucking final or semi-final. I'm not that desperate. I would have liked to have gone. So say we'd have got Rangers or Celtic as well, and I knew I was going to one, I'd have been less bothered about Lisbon. It was one I was looking at thinking, yeah, I'm right tempted. And I think Sporting Lisbon is particularly attractive as well because they've not been... I know they got to last 16 last year, but it is normally or more commonly Porto or Benfica, isn't it? And it's got a little mystique to the stadium with the seats being all a different colour and stuff. So I think it would have been different. Going to Benfica looks to me like just going to the Emirates, to be honest. It looks like the same fucking stadium. Even though I saw a photograph yesterday outside it looks like the same stadium. And I'm not saying I wouldn't go to Benfica. I would like to go to Benfica and stuff. But yeah, Sporting Lisbon really did appeal, actually. Plus, I hadn't seen Tottenham in any of the stadiums in Portugal yet. But I think it was that. That would be nice. That's a good trip. Have a really nice day in the city. It doesn't become that now. It just becomes spend as much money as you can to go and see a football match. I can sit in my house and watch the football match. So, yeah, as much as I want to go and I've got the bug at the moment, it doesn't make sense for the price. So it's a no for me at the moment. Tommy Brookman says, what do you make of the Sunderland Alex Neil situation? We're totally honest, I've not had enough time to look at it overnight and stuff, but it seems a strange one to go from Sunderland to Stoke, having just got Sunderland appointed. But as I said yesterday on one of the pieces of content I did, it could be that there's money involved, obviously. It could be that from a living perspective, maybe his family's near there. We don't know. We haven't got the information at the moment. He's certainly done a very good job at Sunderland. Doesn't mean he'll necessarily do a great job at Stoke. Look at Nathan Jones, who went from Luton, right? And has gone back to Luton and done a great job. Just was a disaster at Stoke, wasn't it? So, Josh 14X says, Haaland and Mount to Tony and KDB. Am I nuts? Mate, I really want to tell you that the deadline went 22 minutes ago. Sam Vine says, still waiting for that massive stand. It's SH, talking about shithole Selhurst Park. Tim Cresson says, why don't you fancy Germany? The away days in Germany are always fun. Yeah, and every trip we've been to Germany, we've been warned by Germans not to go to Frankfurt. By Germans, don't go to Frankfurt. The fun, because everywhere we've gone, we've got, you know, Munich, Dortmund, Leverkusen, we've got spitting to locals, all friendly. I mean, in Munich, absolutely class. To be in Munich over Christmas was great and stuff. Absolute class. All the same message. Don't go to Frankfurt. Everywhere else is fine, because that's what we keep saying to everyone. Like, the experience in Germany is so good. So, am I desperate to go to Eintracht Frankfurt? No, I'm not. There are other stadiums in Germany I'd be more interested in going to, and that will come again, Germany, because I do love going there. I just at a stage in my life, I think I just don't want to go anywhere. I'm just not going to enjoy it right now. If you're going abroad, Sam Vine's saying Frankfurt is a great place to go as long as you stay away from Sachsenhausen. I mean, that means nothing to me. I'm sure it is a great place. Like, I'm sure Marseille is a great place, but I don't really want to go anywhere at this stage in my life with a little one now and go anywhere and be on my toes. And that's what those two away games, Marseille and Frankfurt, feel like that. Now, maybe once Tottenham have already played in these stadiums and we hear good reports back afterwards that everything's fine and stuff, then when it comes up again in the future, yeah, great. But I really don't fancy either. I would love to go to the Velodrome. Like, would that in terms of stadiums, you feel, wow, what a stadium to go to, the Velodrome in Marseille. But not enough to make me feel desperate to want to go, to be honest. Josh says Porto and Braga are the most appealing trips in Portugal to me. I wish I'd gone to Braga when we played them in 2007. Played in the chocolate kit, 1-3-2. I wish I'd gone, but wasn't in a position financially to consider it at the time. Right, that's it. I think that's stream done. Enjoy the football, guys. You've made your decisions. You cannot affect the outcome. Enjoy your weekend. As said, Suj will be back with me on Monday, and then we've got some great guests coming up this week. If you'd like to support the content, www.patreon.com/Planet FPL. Smash a like, hit the sub button on your way out. Other than that, guys, I wish you all a fantastic weekend. Be nice to each other as always. And game week 5 deadline, I think, is 5 o'clock on Tuesday. Ciao for now, everyone. Take care.